And the fact that Tommy, like I said, he sacrificed everything, put everything on the line to help her out until she had to do right by him as well. And then the fact that he returned at the end of the game, he kind of shamed her for not finishing the job, not wanting to continue. And I think he had a right to be mad, but I think he should have also understood that she has a family now, she has a stable life, and that maybe chasing a woman on roids across the country wouldn't have been the wisest choice.
It was not.
It was not because, man, again, the thought I was alluding to earlier. How do you maintain how do you build and then maintain a physique like that
I
in
mean,
the apocalypse?
there's some buff guys in The Last of Us, so somehow they're doing it. If they're doing it, she could do it.
It's just, but the thing about it this way, you have to eat about almost like twice as much as you would have to eat normally to recuperate the calories, the proteins, healthy fats. Like you have to eat more so, and also no one ever eats or shits in this game. By the way, really weird.
Like Brian's biggest critique of the game.
That's my biggest, very big take,
Why is
hot
she
take.
void?
Why have you never released anything from your anus? All right, let's take a 5 second pause here for I can record.
Real quick, by the way, I forgot to mention too. What the hell was up with like the army being okay with Abby, like with the what's it called? The pregnant girl, like she was like, yeah, it was in Abby's section where like the pregnant girl's like, I want to go with you guys, and then the army's like, you know what, it's probably like best for you to go out there because you know you have a baby, whatever. And she's like, no, I want to go out. I'm tired of being locked up. Like, and then immediately she's attacked, like everyone's attacked by like by the enemies or whatever. It's like, why were they cool with letting a pregnant woman like out there to fight? Like, what?
That's a good
That was
question.
so weird.
I thought
That
it was
was
really
so
weird. I
weird.
thought it was
That
weird,
was so weird.
especially her being the only surgeon there or something like that. Like I,
Yeah, also being the doctor. Why would you let? Like,
yeah,
I get that she was born in there, but you're gonna let her in the line and like with like the enemies. Like, what? That's your doctor.
I
Why would you do
I
that?
don't get it. That was really
Yeah,
confusing.
that was the confusing part of like I didn't understand that either. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pause the chat just for literally like 5 or 10 seconds just to record this gameplay and then we'll continue.
Okay. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do.
Hold on, hold
Do-do-do-do-do.
on. Okay, let me make sure I recorded correctly. Ah, crap. Okay, we might have to retread a little bit of ground. Ah, fuck with the some of the gameplay shit.
Brian.
Fuck, we went on long. Oh wait, no, wait, the stream. Okay, okay, wait. Let me think. Let me think. Hold on, let me think. I wish I had a fucking timer. God damn it. Okay, I'll figure it out. Don't worry. Okay, let's continue. So no, so we got to the cut off the video to the point where we were talking about like the bloaters, which we were like what a couple minutes into. We were
Hmm.
talking about the infected, so like really early into the thing. So at the end, we'll just cover a little.
What?
No, no, no,
Wait a minute. Wasn't the infected part like
like in the beginning, no?
the gameplay?
Yeah, no, but no, because listen. So it cut off like the first 5 minutes, essentially.
Wait. So we would have to go back talk about the whole story again?
No. Okay, so how do I tell this to you without messing it up? The first 5 minutes of the recording didn't record, but everything else is good.
Okay, so I didn't get the first 5 minutes.
Yes, we just gotta do. We gotta redo that little portion, just describing the enemies, just the infected enemies, and that's it, and we're good. All right, cool. Okay, we went on a little long there. No, but it's not bad. It's just that I forgot to put a timer. So we were talking about. We do the. What were we talking about? Shit. Eric, what were you saying?
Um, what am I talking about?
Shit. What's it? Abby, Ellie? Oh, the cannons. Oh, she's roided up. Big arms. Scary.
Sorry, good old cannons.
Ridiculous. Okay. What's her? Let's say. We're talking about the story. Talking about Abby. I started playing the game. I hated Abby. Understood her motivations. I hate that she killed my favorite character of the series. But then as the game progressed, I understood why she wanted to do it. I understood the trauma. She was living in the present, but her mind was in the past, and clearly signs of PTSD and trauma. She would just wake up having nightmares every night, and it's something that she couldn't shake, and she felt like she had to kill Joel so she could clear her conscience. But even after she killed him, her conscience wasn't cleared. She had trouble sleeping. Her nightmares progressed until she met a young trans boy called Lev, who she ran into, saved her life. And unfortunately, in that same scene, Lev's brother sister uh, got her wings clipped, and what that means is the cultist members of this religious group, which is essentially it seems like it's like the closest comparison would be like if Christianity was run by a madman or misconstrued by mad people in an apocalypse. Anyway, that's the cultists running this group. The group had these two people, Lev, trans boy, and the sister, and they were exiled because of Lev's how would preference to transitioning from from female to male, and so of course this religion being very non-accepting, ironically, a religion being non-accepting, they exiled them and they basically were gonna kill them, and so they had to go on the run. In turn, they meet Abby in a horrible circumstance, and they save Abby's life. And so in return, Abby feels they feels like she's in debt. She needs to repay her debt to them, and she does this by making sure they get to a safe location. Blah blah blah. Her arm's really fucked up. Abby leaves, falls asleep, has a horrible dream in which the people she just saved are brutally mutilated before her eyes. She returns to the camp. She finds them in pretty rough shape, of course, not dead, and she takes it upon herself to take these two strangers, which are of the opposite faction. They're the faction that she works for, Wolf, the WLF, hates scars. Like it's like a Romeo and Juliet thing. Like they're just mortal enemies, mortal groups that hate each other. They're always at conflict, always at war. And she takes them to this camp from of this rogue WLF member, and that becomes like their base. And so long story short, Lev essentially brings the a human aspect to Abby. The
Mm.
reason why Abby didn't kill Ellie in the theater is because she had the knife to she had the knife to Dina's neck. She turned Dina towards Ellie's direction after Ellie told her that she was pregnant, and she said, "Don't do it. She's pregnant." And she just looks at her and she says, "Good," with the knife to her throat.
Huh.
Until Lev intervenes All she says is Abby. Like, I mean, she is like paraphrasing, but she just says Abby, don't or please,
Mm-hmm.
and that's enough. That's enough that Lev brings the humanity, the human nature,
Back to Abby.
back into Abby, and she
Mm-hmm.
understands that if she does this, the cycle's never gonna end. And so she's like she's bringing her back to back back down, and so she doesn't kill her. Cycle's broken. They leave. You know, Ellie's ego is hurt. She still feels indebted to Tommy, Joel, Jesse, and so she does the unthinkable, and she puts her family, her home, her baby on the line for some revenge. So again, thinking that killing her will clear her PTSD, and long story short, it wouldn't, even if she had killed her. And so at this point of the story, at the very end, when Ellie does his choice I just mentioned, I found her to be a very unlikable character, unrelatable. I would have never done that. Then again, I'm not in this situation, but I have seen her through this story, and I her choice to do that was incredibly foolish and arrogant. And so the fact that Dina skipped town when she returned, I am not shocked by at all.
Of Tina.
Dina leaving, I'm not
Yeah.
shocked that she's wise to do that.
Of course, as Ellie was still wanted revenge.
Yeah, and so at the end of the game, there starts to be a parallel between Abby and Joel because Abby comes across this person who she's kind of been raised to hate, and she takes him under the wing, and she saves his life continuously, and that's exactly what Joel did with Ellie.
Mm.
And so in that sense, I can see how she's likable, and it's very relatable because our favorite character who just died made the same sacrifice that uh that Abby made. And so
Mm-hmm.
and she starts doing all these things that humanizes her, and she finally you know she made, how do I phrase this, by making another person in her life more important than she was able to confront and accept the death of her father. And so now she's like alive. She's like she's not living in trauma, bearing all that like mental weight. She can move on and she can live in the moment and not just be thinking about the past. And so this throughout this entire progression of her character, I started to like her character, her and her cannons.
Fine, shut up if I take you.
And it was such a I again, but this is just masterful storytelling from Naughty Dog. I just would have never expected I would be liking this character at the end of the game. I just never had that thought, and it's just
Well, Brian, give you. I want your entire score of the game. I want your thoughts on there.
I'll get to that. But once I highlight some of the things I didn't like, we
Okay.
talked about it briefly. The narrative dissonance of Dina telling no Dina finding out that Ellie is immune, never brought up
Yeah.
again. Jesse Manny's death never being brought up again. Really, again, some pacing issues when it comes to the story and the actual gameplay. I was falling asleep the first couple times I played the game. I don't know, maybe that
I
I don't
remember
know if that's
that.
just me or the game.
No, no, I'm not gonna lie. There definitely parts where as like the elite section part of the game, I was in there, I was loving it, I was like fucking enjoying everything that I was playing. Um, that once I got to the Abbey part, oh my God, I think I knocked out like 3 times playing the game, like with the TV on.
Fuck.
I definitely knocked out like 2 or 3 times. 'Cause I was like, dude, I I remember they were like, I had to take a break from the game for like a week because I was like, dude, I am so bored of the game. Holy shit! Like I love the Ellie part, but now that the game's making me go back to day one with Abby, dude, I need a break from the game for sure.
Fuck. Oh boy. Um, I just also really loved. I the way they presented the game is a double-edged sword because it the game was paced and presented to you in a way that you could feel empathy and guilt for essentially the murders that you'll be partaking in, which is cool because games don't do that. Games just make killing a casual thing and
Hmm.
oftentimes reward you for it. But in this game, it makes you feel guilty and it makes you feel responsible for what you've done. And then also the characters, of course. So I mean, no, most games don't do that.
Hmm.
Um, and also it gives you a glimpse into other perspectives and it. Well, I gotta say one thing I didn't like is that these characters were often speaking about these events that I didn't know what the fuck was about. Like the very first scene where you meet Jesse, he wakes you up. He's like, "Oh yeah, it was a rough night yesterday, huh?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah, I don't want to talk about it." He's like, "Yeah, I saw you kiss Dina, huh?" And she's like, "Yeah, yeah, I did that." I'm like, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
Wait,
And
what's that?
the Jesse to Ellie,
Oh yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
very first scene, I'm like, a lot, you'll find yourself listening to these conversations that have already passed, but with no context, and it
Hmm.
makes it a little hard slash annoying to follow because like you don't really give a fuck because you didn't witness it.
What's weird is that I don't like that the game took fucking forever to give you like they kept hinting about like in the game about like what happened at the bar, or like what happened, like oh that kiss was like a mistake or whatever, like what happened like with Ellie and Dina like at that, no, not at the bar but like at that party, and it took God like almost like 16 17 hours or something to find out like oh that's what happened to the boy, like oh my God dude, that took forever just to find out what went down, like the whole kiss or whatever, like God that took forever.
Yeah.
I don't know why it took that long for us to reach it there, but I mean, finally got to it, I guess.
So that bar scene was the catalyst to that was the catalyst for the division between Joel and Ellie because that and the tape that Ellie found was like the really like the last straw that like really broke them apart because
Mm.
she was being overprotective and she at this point is already old enough, but then her ego got in the way as well. She's like, I can take care of myself, before like her against a a 6'2", 250 pound fat guy. Her being like 5'4" and like 140 pounds, like uh, I understand that, but that's probably the fight was the reason why that scene was it just was taken so long to be shown to us, which I didn't kind of like. I understand. Again, I get it story wise, but I just some of these scenes that people were talking about, I was just like, what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But then the positive side of that, fragmenting the story like that, you feel bad for killing Owen, killing Mel, her baby, you know, and but then you get to know these characters. You're like, oh shit, the dog, it's just, and then with a scene where you enter the aquarium and you see like the medical rag and the bloody table, you're like, holy shit, what's going on here? But then you go back and you get the context. You're like, oh, okay, there's a emergency surgery here. So it's kind of cool, but
I suppose, yeah.
it's interesting. It's a different take in
Mm.
storytelling that I haven't really seen. Like we saw that a little bit in Uncharted 2, where
Mm-hmm.
that train sequence.
The train sequence, yeah.
But that was like a very young version of that idea. This idea was that
Mm-hmm.
idea just taken to 15 to 11.
Mm-hmm.
And it pays off in some ways, in the way that it makes you feel empathy and regret, and it gave the scene at the porch with Joe and Ellie talking about how she'll finally work on the relationship and they'll move forward. That being like pretty much one of the last scenes in the game gave it more impact because you then realize, oh shit, like they were gonna finally work on it, and then he died, and then Abby played golf on his cranium. It's really sad shit.
God damn it.
God
Uh,
damn it.
yeah, I don't know. Fuck. By the end of it, I was just like, uh, well, honestly, I guess I want to hear like, what your overall like thoughts about the game?
I loved some of the supporting characters.
Because
Like
you, what was that all the cons that you think that you thought about the game?
I thought some of the supporting characters weren't really great. Like Mel was fine. Um,
Who was Mel again?
Mel was the girlfriend.
No,
Mel was a rebound after Abby.
the nurse, right? That was
Yes,
that was that. Yeah, okay,
and
yeah.
and they had Owen and Mel had no chemistry, and that was on
Yeah,
purpose.
I didn't. They should have showed more of that though.
They
That felt like
well,
they had nothing going.
that was intentional because Owen was still thinking about
Yeah,
Abby,
yeah. Of course, they fucking ended up sleeping.
and they're fucking in the boat scene. What did you think about that scene?
What do you mean, Brian? What do I think? It was disgusting.
Which head?
That was so nasty to look at. Like, I mean, I understand why. I
Her
felt like
cannons or her
no,
A
I
cups?
didn't want to see. I didn't want to see them fucking. But I
Fucking
also
fuck.
understand that, like, I mean, they kept hinting that it was gonna happen, that they still had feelings for each other, or whatever. So I don't know. Like, I guess that was supposed to happen. I guess I don't know.
Like, so to give context for that scene, Abby is arguing with Owen about his plans to leave and about you know it, it's just she Abby is questioning Owen's how would you say, like, maturity, and he's like, well, how do I become mature? How do I do that? Do I just seek out all the people who have done me wrong and just torture them until they cry and bleed out and things like that, and they start to yell. It becomes a physical confrontation, and he pulled out her A cups and they fuck.
Brian, the A cups. I mean, yeah, it was one of like I said, it was bound to happen. I felt.
Yeah, but it just came out of left field. Is that me or is that like just like a sign of like mental, like some kind of like weird mental, like, that can't be healthy. You can't be a healthy person to like get turned on by like physical abuse. Like you got to be like really fucked up there.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was definitely weird.
he's about to beat the shit out of me. Stick that dick in me. Like that's really weird. I don't know. That's just me.
I don't know. They were in love. What can I say?
Uh, uh, you gotta be real fucked up to be turned on by shit like that. I don't know.
They were in love, Brian.
They were in love, and he was horny. So was she. Her testosterone must be through the fucking roof with those things.
Brian,
What?
shut up.
That thing came out of nowhere. I didn't. I just find it, I don't know why. I just find it hard to believe
What?
the fuck. Like they just fucked.
Oh,
Like I understand that
whatever.
I understand they still had a thing for each other, but like in this instance, in this moment, it just didn't make sense to me. But then I also get like they're making up,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
like they made up in the moment without speaking. Like like I would understand if it was like the next scene where like he apologizes to her or they apologize to each other and then like he touches her hand and she's wearing like something loose and he's like wearing a t like so I don't like I don't know I just it moved so fast but I guess that's how it happens in the apocalypse or when you get to people who are like really horny.
That's love for you, Brian.
Mental illness.
Okay. Okay, mental illness.
So to answer your question, well, what do I rate this game? Given the graphics, which are we didn't really touch on, incredibly beautiful, the texture work, the landscapes, the lighting, the foliage, facial animations, um, voice acting, the writing, all just top of the line, just masterclass. You know,
Mm.
um, I think the game's too long. The game is too long.
Yeah, the game's
When
pretty long.
when a game does a fake out in the epilogue, like for example Red Dead Redemption 2 or Days Gone, when a game makes you think the game is done but keeps going, I'm
Yeah.
automatically pissed. It could be a great game, but if you do that as a developer,
There was
I'm
definitely a point in
pissed.
the game where it feels where it's like it definitely felt like it was supposed to end, and it's like, oh no, it's still going. Oh shit.
You know what it feels like? It feels like when you go see a Marvel movie and you see two commercials after you see the movie and you have to wait for the credits. That's how that
Like,
feels like.
shut the fuck
That's how that
up,
feels like. Marvel fans,
Brian the hater.
what a fake outs
But yes, Brian. Well, okay, explain to me. What is the score?
between the gameplay, the story, the graphics, the writing, the soundtrack. I'm about to give it a 10 out of 10, Eric.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Oh shit! You think it was as good as The Last of Us One?
No, 10 out of 10 minus 1.
What?
It,
You
it's
think it's a 9?
it's a 9. It's not perfect. It's too
Okay.
long. It's too long. Some story aspects, pacing issues. I fell asleep almost twice on stream.
Okay.
Um, Other small things, but
Okay.
it's just compelling storytelling. Just very compelling. 9 out of 10. You?
I am in the mode of I think this is either a 6 or a 7 out of 10 personally,
Wow.
and I'm leaning
Wow.
towards more so the 6. Um, there was a lot of times when I was falling asleep to the game. Like I don't think it's a bad game for sure. I don't really think that, but I don't think it is as good as Last of Us One for sure. The plot of Revenge, I like I said, my big issue is there was very bad pacing issues with the game, and I definitely think that Abby part should have been in the beginning, and then you should have played it early after, so you could feel bad for the character instead of like you killed the characters already, and the game's trying to make you feel bad for doing that like after already. Like that did not work for me at all. Um, there was definitely points in the game where I was falling asleep to like what was going like in the Abbey section. I was definitely passing out in the game. I hated that there was just deaths that did not get reference about once they died. They just completely ignored it. And I thought the story of revenge wasn't that good as just because of as having wanted to go for revenge not only 3 times, but the whole thing of like her really just killing that many people, that many of her friends, and by the end of it, she's like, when she finally had the opportunity to go for it, she's like, I don't want to do that. And it's like you killed so many, and by the end of it, now you think like, okay, revenge is bad. That's where it's like, by the end of it, I remember just being very angry about like what I just played, and I could understand why the game was not rated that high by a majority of people. I thought maybe it was just because people were mad about like Joel dying early in the game, and
Or
I was like I was like I don't get why people were getting mad like about that. Like I feel like he had to die or whatever. But by the end of it, I was like, you know what, I understand why people were angry about this game and like why like the ending would get someone mad because it did. I feel like it did annoy me by the end. So I want to say my final score would have to be like a 6, and also just cause like not even just story wise, but gameplay wise, I feel like they should have innovated more to the game. I really did feel like I was playing The Last of Us One, so that's probably my score. I think. What?
yeah, everyone's entitled to their own shitty opinion.
Fine. I think
But
only one
good.
with a 10. I think there's only
No,
one with a
no, dude,
10 for this
I'm joking.
game.
I said 10 out of 10 minus one. It's a 9 out of 10.
Even a
I,
nine, I'm not.
I,
I
I,
mean, yeah.
I think partly why the game was getting such negative reviews is because it features a trans character and a gay relationship.
No, yeah, it had nothing to do with
I,
that.
I think
It
it's
was
part. I
definitely
think it's part
the.
of it. It got reviewed bombed by a bunch of
Uh,
transphobes and bigots. I think it has. I don't think it's the whole reason why, but I think it's partly due to that, and also Joe dying.
I
Um,
I I don't know how people are going to react to Last of Us the TV show part one was really like reviewed really
I,
greatly. And that's because that's honestly one of the best video game like stories like ever.
of
It's really good.
course,
Last of Us 2, I don't know how people are gonna
and
react to.
and we'll see. With like this clip here will dictate like, okay, is this gonna prove whether
They
people just
plan on.
don't
I know
like the
they plan.
story or because of they're just fucking transphobic or they're bigots.
I know they plan on saying that they were gonna change some stuff like
Oh God.
about it, but know that they were still gonna keep it to like the original of what happened to Last of Us 2. So I want to see how people react to not only Pedro dying so early, Pedro Pascal dying so early into the show, but also the theme of revenge and what they feel about it, like how maybe the normies of the people that watch the TV show interpret it. Because like I said, it's definitely like I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Last of Us One for sure.
And I just want to see who's gonna play Abby's cannons.
Yo, oh my God, so many people are saying that like whoever plays Abby, hopefully it's someone that doesn't have social media, because fuck, you're gonna get so much fucking hate. Like when you kill Pedro, like the first like episode of the second episode, you're gonna get so much fucking hate. That it's like you better get a fucking not have social media, because so many people hate Abby in general. Still to this day, that it's like whoever's the actress for Abby, God save you.
Laura Bailey.
But Bailey is not that buff. They need a buff girl to like for Abby.
You need to get like a WWE girl.
Yeah, need to get like a WWE star. Yeah.
Oh
But yeah,
boy.
that's my review of Last of Us.
Yeah, that is our long-winded review. And yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Appreciate you guys watching, sitting through this one. Uh,
We'll make sure to watch the Last of Us the TV show. By the way, we need to do
yeah, I'm already done with episode one.
that.
Yeah, it's a
Only it's a grind. One episode only.
fuck, it's a grind, but I'm enjoying it. I'll say this right now, right off the bat about that show, real quick. Uh, I truly believe the game is more cinematic than the show is, and I'm so confused why that is.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm so confused why that is, but that's what it is. But overall, besides that, I'm really enjoying Pedro Pascal, the weird looking Ellie, and the show overall is good.
I hate you, man. But yeah, we'll make sure to finish. I'll make sure to finish Last of Us so we could like talk about like the show too.
Yeah, stay tuned for more review discussions, whether it be about God of War, which is out now. You can go ahead and look at that. 2022's Ragnarok, or 2023's introspection of Last of Us 2. Just subscribe, like, Follow Eric on Instagram, Twitter, Tinder, the whole thing.
Farmers only, y'all.
Farmers only. Eric's trying to grow some relationships. Give him a swipe. Give him a DM.
You already know.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one.
Right now, y'all.
Peace.
I can't.
Tastes like burnt shit. Thank you. Acquired taste, my ass. Whoa.
Oh Jesus! You motherfucker! You motherfucker! Holy shit! I hope no one's watching.